Well, the live stream should be working. Hopefully it is. I don't know. I'm looking at me streaming, and I'm hoping that it is streaming, and I see it streaming on, I'm not seeing it stream there. I do see it streaming on YouTube, but I do not necessarily see it streaming on Patreon. So, it's all getting this stuff to work is always interesting. But hopefully it is. We'll see it and see what happens here. Click start. Don't see your broadcast, click start. Okay, click start. Learn more. Your YouTube stream, I did, and my stream is going. I do not see it on Patreon for some reason. Well, I don't know what's happening with that. It seems to be kind of jacked up. So let me see if I can fix it, and we'll go from there. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but hopefully you can. If you're there, pipe up and say something. Yeah, okay, I got it. I'm seeing the chat, at least on, I'm seeing it chat on, you're there. Thank you very much. Thumbs up on you're on the air. Hey, I love it. Okay, let me see if I can get it fixed on Patreon. I don't know that I can, but doesn't appear to be working there. But at least if it's working on YouTube, I guess that's the important thing. So let me try this real quick. And if I can get this fixed, great. Let's try it again. Let's copy that, go over there, and for some reason that is not working. I do not know why. The URL live stream goes there, and we'll try saving it again. Save that, and maybe it goes. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. But, there you go. We'll save it, and I'll post it later on Patreon if it doesn't want to go today. Okay, well, I can't seem to get it to work, so this is a YouTube event. I guess that's what's going to happen there, hey? So there you go. All right, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Listen, I wanted to do this live stream to thank you. And first of all, wish you happy Thanksgiving. It's a really kind of cool event for us. And I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch or listen to my recent podcast, but I told a story about why we do what we do for Thanksgiving. In fact, while I'm doing this podcast, or while I'm doing this live stream, I do try to keep things quiet because obviously, I do this from the little studio in my house. And you may hear my wife in the background baking. In fact, if this was smell-o-vision instead of television, you would now smell the wonderful smell of my wife's pies and the other stuff that she is baking at this very moment. However, smell-o-vision would backfire sometimes depending on what the smell was that was being produced. So maybe it's good that we don't have that now that I think about it. That really wouldn't be very good. Thank you. Loud and clear from Houston. I'm grateful. Houston, Texas. Great place. Welcome. And let's see, who else have we got? Kentucky, Arizona. Geez, I got all kinds of folks from all kinds of places. Well, listen, I wanted to thank you very much for your support of me on Patreon, your support on YouTube and the other platforms where we produce GunGuyTV, and wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. As I started to say, Thanksgiving, I got an itch back here I can't seem to get rid of here. Thanksgiving is one of those holidays that's really kind of cool to us because many years ago, we got in the habit of inviting just about anybody and everybody that didn't have a place to go to come to Thanksgiving and Christmas. And in case I haven't told you the story before or you haven't heard it before, it all started with a gentleman named Jim Baxley, who has since passed away. Jim was a guy who was a part of our church that we've been a part of for, 26 years, I think, almost 27 years. And during that time, Jim joined our church and got baptized by us. And he was a rodeo champion. This guy was awesome. He was a bull rider, had a great big hat, big belt buckle. Belt buckle was bigger than him. I think he was about 5'7", maybe, and 150 pounds. He might have been a $150. I don't know. Wasn't much more than that, and just wiry and strong and kind of a tough guy. And he was that typical cowboy. Yep, nope, single syllable cowboy. You doing well today? Yep. You want to go someplace? Nope. It was that guy. Anyway, one Christmas, I asked him what he was going to do for Christmas. He said nothing. I said, well, you have a place to go? Nope. I said, well, Jim, come on over to our house and you can have dinner with us. Nope. Well, I wouldn't take a no for an answer. And I told Jim, look, you know what? You're tough, but I'm twice your size, and I'll pick you up and throw you in my truck and take you there. You are coming to my house for Christmas. You're not going to be alone. And sure enough, he said he'd come. So I went and picked him up and brought him to our house. It took him about 10 minutes to take his jacket off and get comfortable and sit down. And it was Christmas morning is what we invited him to rather than Christmas dinner, because that's what he wanted to come to, and we thought it would be kind of neat. And my son, Nick, whom you've seen probably pictures of, he's a great big guy. He's an electrician now. He's 6'6" and, 300 pounds. He's a great big man. But at the time, he was a boy. And he distributed the gifts. So we had him, after we got breakfast, we had a nice country breakfast. And after we had breakfast, we distributed the gifts to everyone. And Jim, we gave a gift. We just gave him a spiritual book we thought he might be interested in, and a picture of our family, which we'd signed, and a little thing like that. And we'd wrapped him up. And we gave him the gifts. And that tough guy, I mean, he was tough as nails. He really was. That tough guy just started to cry. And I don't mean, he wasn't shedding a little tear. He was really just bawling, intensely bawling. And I thought we had offended him in some fashion. And I asked him, what did we do? And he finally got control of himself. And that's when he told us that at the age of 47, which is what he was at the time, he had never received a gift from anyone, anywhere. And indeed, his family never celebrated the holidays at all. And his birthday, which happened on April 1st, April Fool's Day, was always a point of disappointment for him, because they would ridicule him during his birthday and tease him about April Fool's Day rather than celebrating it. So we gave him gifts, just these simple little gifts on Christmas. He was so overwhelmed to actually get a gift and then get two that he broke down and cried. And it was a major thing for him and for us. Frankly, we'd never experienced that before. Well, about 6 months later, he had a stroke because he had high blood pressure and wasn't taking his medication. He had a major stroke and he died. And he was in the hospital for a little while on machines, and I went over and read the Bible to him for a while until his family finally unplugged him and he passed away. So we realized that the only gifts Jim had ever had, and the only time he'd ever celebrated these holidays, was the one time he came to our house for Christmas. And it dawned on us that, you know what, other folks might be that way too. So the following year, we asked our minister if we could get up and announce that anybody could come to our house if they wanted to. Well, don't do that unless you're prepared, okay? Because we did it, and 60 some odd people showed up. Now, our house is not very big. We're just regular folks. We're not uber wealthy or anything. Our house is about, I don't know, it's under 1,500 square feet a little bit. And, we've got a pretty good sized lot and like that. But I mean, the house is small. And we had all these people, they kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And my wife had prepared for a reasonable number of folks. We didn't expect that many people. But somehow at the end, there was more food than there was at the beginning. It was like the fishes and loaves story from the Bible. We had so much food we couldn't fit it in the fridge, and we couldn't fit it in the freezer. And I hunt, so we have a big stand-up freezer. There's a lot of stuff in there, but at the time, we couldn't get anything else in there. So we were giving the food away to the single parents and single people who'd come. And at the end of the night, it was just this most amazing thing. Well, we've done it ever since, every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it has become a regular thing in our household. Just the other day at church, when somebody asked me, do you feed all those people? And I said, no, the Lord does, because we never know how many people are coming. We have no idea who's coming tomorrow. We know about 10 or 12, but it's always twice or three times that. We have no idea how many people are coming, but the food always works out. We don't say to people, bring this or bring that. We don't organize it. We just say, bring yourself and a smile. That's all you got to bring. But invariably, people bring things, and it just turns out to be the most amazing experience. So anyway, that's our Thanksgiving story, and I'm sticking to it. We do that on Christmas as well for Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. It's always encouraging. Let me look at the comments here. I haven't done that. I apologize. Lots of people jumping in here. So let me see if there's anything somebody's asked me or something I got to respond to. I don't know, but I will certainly look. We're here. You're fine. You're up. I'm grateful for that. Thumbs up. You're on the air. 100%. Hallelujah. Loud and clear in Arizona. Yeah, I'm sure you would like some pie. That's Joshua Ibarra. Yeah, I guess. Well, let me tell you something about the pie now, Joshua, just so that you know, okay? Some years ago, my wife, she got this recipe online. Now, the woman can cook, okay? We have a perfect marriage. I love to eat. She loves to cook, so it works out just fine. But she got this weird recipe for a different kind of pumpkin pie, and it's pumpkin pie with whipped cream and a few other things in it. And she made it one year. And she made two, I think. And they lasted like, I don't know, 15 seconds and they were gone. So this was like the second or third year we did this, she made this pie. Well, every year that pie is such a hit that I actually have a friend named Eric. He was a great guy. He and his wife, every year, they always feel required to go to family for dinner, but they bust out early and come over here because he doesn't want to miss out on the pie. There's been a couple times he's come in and he'll come in the door, and the first thing he does is make a beeline for the kitchen to make sure he gets some of that pie for it before it disappears. That is the biggest hit, is that crazy pie. And as a result, Nobody eats regular pumpkin pie anymore because they're so used to that. All right, let's see who else is here. Kingsville, Texas. Way to go. Thank you very much. And 49ers Nation, San Diego. I'm glad I got another San Diegan in here. I'm not the only gun guy in San Diego, by the way. There's a lot of them. Let's see who else have I got here. Keith Gregory. Well done. Thank you. I think he is actually I see his name a lot. I see your name a lot, Keith. Thank you very much for hanging out with me for a little bit. I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving. Amen. Thank you very much. Let's see. What else have I got here? Rural Kentucky. What a beautiful state Kentucky is. It is an absolutely beautiful place, Kentucky. So good for you. I'm glad you're having a great Thanksgiving. That's from Jay Austin. And let's see. Let's see, what else have I got here? Boy, they keep on going here. I love your videos. Thank you very much. Let's see. I've seen you somewhere before. I worked at a gun shop range in Aurora, Colorado. You know, I got to tell you, as much as I would love to be in Aurora, Colorado at some time or another, I've never been there. But I'm told I have one of those faces. People tell me I look like people on TV all the time. There's a TV show I've never seen called Walking Dead, but apparently there's a character on there that people want to equate me with on a regular basis. But truthfully, I've never been there. Any advice if you want to start your own gun store shooting range? In California, don't. That would be my advice. Other than that, I don't know. I don't, I shoot on them, but I don't run a range. We actually own a training company that trains security guards throughout the state of California. That's what we do for a living. And then, I have the YouTube channel, which my son and I started for fun, but it really just turned into something. I'm always amazed that it has gotten where it is. I'm amazed that people watch the videos the way they do. I'm always just stunned by that, but I'm super grateful for it. So somebody tell me, what are you doing on Thanksgiving? Everybody having a traditional meal, or you just, hopefully you're not hanging out by yourself now. Don't do that. If you're by yourself for Thanksgiving, that can be a really discouraging, depressing thing. Find somebody, friend at church or friend down the street or buddy of yours for a long time that's got family, or just somebody else that's sitting home by themselves, and the two of you get up and go do something together. Don't be lonely. Thanksgiving, everybody remember our military. Amen. Let's see, what else you got? Yeah, please do remember the military. So many of my friends are veterans, and a lot of them are law enforcement. I think about those guys down at the border right now, both the Border Patrol, but also the soldiers and Marines, and who are helping out with that, and our sailors and our military. I'm in a military town. San Diego is a military town. The state of California may be extremely liberal, but San Diego is a military town. And we love our sailors. We love our Marines. We're grateful for them. And frankly, I've told people many times, if it wasn't for the United States military, San Diego would blow up, would just dry up and blow away. So, if you don't love the military and you're in San Diego, you're in the wrong place. You need to go someplace else probably. Let's see. I've been kidnapped by some friends. Good for you. Donate turkey to the homeless. Absolutely. No lingering effects from the Bell's palsy. No, actually. That was kind of interesting. I had a ton of people praying for me about the whole Bell's palsy thing. It lasted, I think, about a month and a half, a little bit less than that, and it kind of went away completely by the end of 2 months. I went to my chiropractor, who also had studied chiropractic. He's a very close friend of mine, awesome chiropractor. Very small practice, but I think he likes to keep it that way. So if you ever want a great chiropractor, go see Doc Nick DeSantis in the city of La Mesa. He's awesome. And he helped me with it. He did some electrostimulation on it. And then, of course, the doctor, put me on prednisone or whatever to reduce the swelling of the facial nerve, and it went away. But I looked really cool for the longest time. I did a great pirate impression. I learned the pirate alphabet, which there's very few letters in. I think I shared that. A, I, R. And then there's also C, because they spend their life at sea, I've been told. So there you are. But no, the Bell's palsy healed right up, and I have no effects from it at all, which is kind of shocking. I was very grateful for everyone's prayers, by the way. So thank you for that. I know some people get on me because I talk about my Christianity a lot, but this is, after all, my channel. So I get to do that. I don't force it on other folks, but I do get to talk about it. Let's see what else we got here. Happy Thanksgiving from El Cajon. Well, thank you very much, El Cajon. You have a great mayor. His name is Bill Wells. He was reelected. Bill is, I know Bill, not, we're not personal friends or whatever, but he does come to me for training periodically, and I've spent some time with Bill. He is a very good guy. He owned a gun shop, or was partners with a gentleman in a gun shop in the city of El Cajon called A.O. Sword, now that I think about it. And he's no longer partners there, I don't think, anymore, but he was at one time. He's an avid Second Amendment advocate and a pretty darn good guy. That's Bill Wells in the city of El Cajon. And if he were my mayor, I'd see if I could keep him as mayor. Your mom got the palsy. That's Joseph Moon. Is that right? Good grief. Well, I hope it goes away. Well, send me an email, Joseph, to GunGuyTV@gmail.com, and I'll make sure we put her on our prayer list. We'll pray for her. And if you think prayer doesn't work, that's okay. You can think that if you want. It's all right. We all have a right to our opinion. But I've been a Christian a long time, and I can tell you the prayer of a righteous man is powerful and effective. That's what the Bible says, and that is true. She got it on the left side, and then the right. You got Bell's palsy on both sides. That's awful. One was bad enough. Every time you drink something, it drools out of your face. That's just absolutely terrible. Well, listen, I don't have anything to talk about guns at the moment. I don't have any political nonsense to jabber on about. I don't have a particular gun to show you, other than I did get this from Wolf Springs. Whoop! There it goes. Oh, I dropped it. Well, I got the bag, yes. I also got the spring. Let me see if I can get it. Hang on. I got it. All right, I got the new spring for my Smith & Wesson Model 66 because I'm getting some light strikes with it. So I ordered that. That came in the other day from Wolf Gun Spring Makers. Very inexpensive, but they had really good ratings and like that. I haven't put it in the gun yet. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And I'm trying to find somebody to take a look at that little 16-gauge L.C. Smith that I borrowed the other day, because I have spoken to the gentleman who owns it, and he has offered potentially, maybe, I don't know, maybe, to sell it to me. So I think that's kind of cool. I would love to have it. So we have to figure out a deal first and like that. But I want to have somebody that knows what they're doing take a look at it. I don't know anybody, but I did get on the web and look for referrals, and I called a gentleman and left a message for him. I figure I'll talk to him after the holidays or whatever. We'll figure it out. Let's see what else we got here. Bump stocks got banned. Yes, they did. And that is a bummer. I've never owned one. Don't particularly want to, but it's a slippery slope when they start banning stuff like that. It gets worse. It doesn't get better. How do you feel about tungsten guide rods for Glocks? You know what? I'm going to really offend you right here, probably, without intending to. I'm not a big Glock guy. I like them. A lot of friends of mine are big Glock people. I'm not. So the Glocks I have typically just stock, and I've never tried it. But I've heard really good things about the tungsten guide rods, but I have no personal experience on which to back up any kind of opinion on that. So I'm sorry, I don't have an opinion for you. Ammo background checks pushed out to July 19th. All right, here's the deal about ammo background checks. If you want to order ammo, and you're in California, I'm sorry, let's just call it what it is. If you're in the People's Socialist Republic of California and you want to order ammo and have it shipped to you, you have to have two things. You got to have a curio and relic, I can do this. A curio and relic CC, it's a CNR, curio and relic FFL license. Those are real easy to get. You just go online, download the form, fill it out, send the money to the ATF, and send a letter with a copy of it to the local law enforcement person in your area. I sent it to the chief of police in my city. Never heard back from him, and you never will. And then they'll send you one. I think it's $35 or $36. That's it. And there's no background check or anything. Just fill it out, put your information in it, stick it in the mail. Now, the other thing you have to have is a California certificate of eligibility to purchase a firearm. Now, that you have to go get a live scan for with your fingerprints and pay a DOJ fee and all that kind of stuff. If you have those two things, the Curio and Relic FFL license and the California Certificate of Eligibility, you have both of those things, then you want to go on, I don't know, pick a retailer. You want to go on Lucky Gunner or whatever, or Midway USA or something. You want to order ammo, you can order it and they'll ship it right to your door. So that's the exception in the rule in the California law. So just so that you know. And it takes about 3 months to get both of those things. So if the law has been pushed back, implementation of the law has been pushed back till July, you got plenty of time to do it. And that way you don't have to go through the whole background check, have a permit, buy only one box nonsense. You can order as much ammo as you want and they'll just ship it to you. At least that's my understanding, which is why I did it. So there you are. Let's see. I prepared my friend's 380. Hopefully he just holds down to it. Okay. Let's see. SKS is, yeah, it is a popular truck gun. I really like it. Ammo, background check, we talked about that. Going to the border in I don't know what that's about, Joseph. You kind of confused me with that one. How do you feel about tungsten guide rods? I looked at that. Bump stock, somebody mentioned already. Do I think any of the California laws can be reversed? Yes, absolutely. Do I think it's going to happen quickly? No. I think it needs to happen in California, because if it doesn't happen in California, we're kind of stuck. California tends to either affect or infect the rest of the nation. Now, that said, there are other things infecting the rest of the nation. I just did a podcast about it, but if you look at illegal immigration is causing problems where voting is concerned, because even in Texas, we just saw in the recent election with Project Veritas, actually found some people that are working polling booths in Texas that were allowing and encouraging illegal voting by people that are in the country illegally. And well, a lot of them work, and a lot of them work hard, but a lot of them also end up on the dole, and they end up in welfare, and then they go to the hospital because that's where their medical is free, because you and I are paying for it. They don't have medical insurance, so they go to the hospital, to the emergency room, which can't turn them down, and then you and I have to pay that bill. And they get a lot of other things for free. Well, if you're getting a lot of things for free, you're going to vote for the people who keep giving you things for free, and that would be the Socialist Party, which has become the Democratic Party. And if you look at the post-election map of Texas, for example, everybody says Texas is going to be free. It's always going to be free. No, I don't know. You look at the post-election map of Texas, you'll see that there is the whole border with Mexico is decidedly blue. Even though the rest of Texas is red, with the exception of a couple little pockets, the border is decidedly blue. Come on now, right? I mean, that's kind of telling right there. And I think that's a concern as well. So can we change those laws? Yes, but we need to make certain that only citizens can vote, first of all. That's a big deal. And then secondly, we have to realize it's going to take time, and we have to fight the battle where the battle is, not leave and try to fight it from a distance. Now, I'm not being critical of people who leave. If that's what your choice is, that's fine. But before you leave, consider how you're going to fight the battle from another state. Sometimes you got to stay where the battle is to fight it. And is it tiring? Is it difficult? Is it frustrating? Absolutely. In order to shoot videos of guns that aren't legal in California, I have to drive all the way to Yuma, Arizona. So that's a 2.5-hour drive one way for me to go out to Sprague Sports and review guns. Now, I've got companies sending me guns out there, and I'm grateful for Richard Sprague. He's awesome. So if you ever get a chance to go by Yuma at Sprague Sports, please do. He's very supportive, and I'm grateful to do it. But it is, when you work for a living, you got to expend the gas, and you got to drive all the way out there, and it's an all-day thing. So you have to take a day out of your schedule to drive out to do a video, when I could do it here if my Second Amendment actually applied, but it doesn't. And I don't want to get myself arrested. That would be stupid. So I don't have anything illegal here, nor do I intend to. I have to go to other states. Well, I want to go hunting. I'm going to go hunting javelina in Arizona. Well, because that's where you hunt javelina. But I mean, most of my hunting, all of my hunting is going to be done in other states from now on, because California makes it so difficult, and with their egregious and overwhelming and kinds of laws and stupidity. So yeah, we can change them, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take years and years and years, and we have to steel ourselves for the fact that it's going to be a tough fight. All right, let's see. What else have I got here? So hopefully I answered that question. Sorry about the long-winded answer. Let's see. Left side, right side. We talked about that. 20-year-old girl. 20-year-old girl that your son works with was murdered the other day. That's terrible. I don't blame him for being bummed. What a horrible thing. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. That's awful. I don't have a real intelligent, witty retort to that. That's tough. That's difficult. California needs to break up into 2 states that way. That's been proposed. The problem is the people that propose breaking up California are decidedly liberals. And the way that they always propose breaking it up would benefit the liberals and benefit progressives and socialists. It wouldn't benefit anybody else. Yes, you could break it up in a way that would benefit, constitutional conservative Americans who care about the Constitution and want the Constitution followed and want to save our country from socialism. Yeah, but the way that they always want to break it up wouldn't accomplish that. It would do exactly the opposite, which is why, although it sounds like a great idea, I'm glad that it hasn't happened. What I would like to break up is the nutty Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. That would help a lot if we could break that sucker up, and it covers too much. It's really awful. Let's see. Oh, well, there you go. Larry Bevins, thank you very much, brother. You're in San Diego, too. There's another one. I'm not the only one. I'm grateful for that. Get involved in politics. Become an elected official in your country. Well, I am involved in the sense that I do what I do. This is what I do. As far as my getting involved, I don't know if you're urging other people to do it or me. As far as getting involved in politics, I'm absolutely the wrong guy. I'm not a people person, although I can put on being a people person for a short period, but I'm much better. I'd much rather be out hunting with a few friends or whatever. Large crowds and like that drive me nuts. I couldn't be a politician. I just don't function well in that environment. Besides which, I don't like to argue. I really don't. I don't mind, discussions, but I'm not a guy who likes to get in arguments. You want to argue with me, and the other thing is that since I became a Christian, I had to change my approach to things. There was a time if you insulted me, I'd knock you out. And I can't do that anymore. So not only that, it gets you thrown in jail if you do stuff like that. Let's see. How come you would not recommend opening an outdoor range in California? Well, because there are so many restrictive laws in California that make it difficult to own a range. California goes out of its way to actively close shooting ranges. If you ever want to know how hard they work at it, go talk to Dennis Roman at the P2K Sports Range in El Cajon, California. He can tell you horror stories of what the state of California and the county of San Diego have put them through, even though that range has been there 100 years. So it's really tough. If you want to fight, you like to fight, then maybe it's a good idea. But as a businessman, and we've owned a real estate brokerage and a few other businesses. As a businessman, I wouldn't do it in California because the fact is it's just so challenging. You're going to expend so much money and effort and time, legal bills and other stuff that it's very hard to make a living. And by the way, a lot of California ranges are struggling right now because people are not shooting as much as they were. At least they were struggling recently. So I don't know that adding another one is going to help you, although it might. But, I think I'd try to do it in a state that's less crazy than California. So hopefully that answered your question. Let's see. Thanks for the rain. The fire's out in Northern California. Unfortunately, now what happens is the mudslides. My brother, Ron, and his wife, and my nephew, Ron and Rebecca's son, Robert, lost their homes in Paradise. It's terrible. It was a horrible thing, but they both lost their homes there. Fortunately, they didn't lose their lives because a lot of folks did. Good evening from Louisiana, lovely Louisiana. Well, good for you. Thank you very much. Let's see. God bless America. Amen, brother. I got to tell you, God bless America is right. Let's see. Thanks. We need to take a moment tomorrow for the innocent people that lost everything. We must not forget. Amen. Please, if you are a person of faith, please pray for those folks because they need it. And prayer moves God's heart in a lot of ways. He likes to know that we care too. Charlie in Oakland, nice chat. Happy Thanksgiving. You are quite welcome. Thousand Oaks Bar Bouncer had CCW card but wasn't allowed to be armed. That is true. Very sad. Joel, you should consider joining the San Diego County Crime Commission. Would love to have you on board. Okay, Larry, I got to tell you, I don't even know what that is. I am a member of InfraGard in San Diego, although I haven't been to a meeting in a while. I'm a member of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, even though they're very anti-gun, but sometimes you got to join those organizations to try to affect them. I'm a member of the International Law Enforcement Educator and Trainers Association, and I'm a member of ISIS, what do they call it? They don't call it as is because it's ASIS. It's a security industry organization. So, Larry, if you want to send me an email about that, you can send it to, there's a whole bunch of email addresses, but the easiest one to remember, honestly, is GunGuyTV@gmail.com. They all go to the same place. You could send it to my corporate email, but it would go to the same place. GunGuyTV@gmail.com, and I'll respond to you. We can talk more about that. Any good BLM land to shoot near Riverside County? I don't know. The only land I know of that is still available, as far as I know, is out past, it's in San Diego County, I think. Might be in Imperial County. I don't know. I think it's San Diego County. And that's past Julian on the 78. You go out, well, it's about 2 hours away. You go out quite a ways. And then out in Ocotillo Wells, there's an area right by the train tracks, which is fairly common for people to shoot. And I've shot there quite a number of times with my friend John Ricci. In fact, you may have seen videos of us shooting my M1 and other things, and we were out there where the train tracks are. So that's a way to do that. However, it's about 2.5 hours, and if you're going to do that and you're driving out that far, why not just drive to Yuma if it's that far from you and shoot at the Adair range, which is beautiful and free, and it's actually a range. There's lots of places to shoot, so you could do that too. But as far as BLM, even the San Diego County is trying to close down BLM land. They have no authority to do that. But California is very, very weird. Something about a shooting challenge at the P2K range, you and me. What do you want to challenge me to? I don't know. What's Modin? I don't know what that is. MODIN. You'll have to clarify that for me. You'll probably beat me. I look at it this way. I'm an instructor, see, and you know what they say is those who can do and those who can't teach. And those who can't teach teachers. Well, I teach. So I'm trying to get to the point where I'm so bad at shooting that I can actually teach teachers. Wouldn't that be fun? Well, this is fun. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I know you guys are trying to get ready for Thanksgiving and you got stuff going on. I see that. Thank you. Let's see about the San Diego Crime Commission. Lived in Kern County for a while. Hope California will get better for you guys. Yeah, me too. Well, listen, the whole point of all of this was simply to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving and to thank you very much for all of your support. I am incredibly grateful for all that you do. Frankly, we started this, my son and I, as a lark. We never intended for it to actually be anything, and it took off on its own. And I'm always humbled by the fact that I look at the subscriber thing and I go, wow, it's still growing. People send nice things and they say nice things, and it actually, people want to support it and so on. I'm always kind of stunned by that. So thank you very much for all of your support. I'm very, very grateful for what you do. And since it's going to be Thanksgiving tomorrow, I wanted to let you know that one of the things I'm very thankful for is you. So don't forget that. We're like I said, my wife and kids and I, we're just regular folks. We're not special. We're not rich or, we're not movie stars or whatever. We're just regular people. We live in a regular house in a regular neighborhood. And sometimes when you support regular people, they get a little shocked by it, and we kind of are. So I'm very grateful for all of your support. I thank you again. Have a wonderful week. I hope and pray that your Thanksgiving will be a terrific one, and that you'll be around friends and family. And like I said, if you are alone, I want to encourage you, don't do that. All right, don't do that. Go spend some time with some folks that appreciate you and whom you appreciate. And if you know somebody who's alone and you've got folks around you, reach out to them and invite them. Don't let them sit home alone on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We've seen how devastating that can be, which is why we don't do that anymore. We invite everybody under the sun. Now, I'm not encouraging you to do that unless you particularly want to, but you can certainly invite a person that you know, and certainly, invite yourself to somebody's house. And if I bump into you someplace and you are alone on Thanksgiving and Christmas, you let me know, and we'll invite you over here. So listen, thank you again very much. Have a wonderful week. I'm going to sign off now because if I don't, then I'll keep yammering on about nothing and bore you incredibly to tears, I'm sure. Thank you again. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe.